She feels the loss of you more than you think. But why? Have you ever stopped to wonder what is the true value of something rare, something unique, something absolutely irreplaceable is? Here's the thing. When we have something valuable, we often take it for granted. We assume it'll always be there. We don't question its worth because we're used to its presence. But the moment it's gone, suddenly its value becomes painfully clear. It's not just an absence. It's a void. And that void, it whispers louder than any presence ever could. This is the paradox of loss. It's only in the absence of something or someone that we come face to face with its true weight. The Stoics understood this deeply. They taught us to reflect on impermanence, to practice detachment, not because it's easy, but because it reveals the truth about value. And let me tell you something. She's now discovering that truth about you. What you brought to her life wasn't ordinary. It was irreplaceable. But here's the kicker. She didn't realize it when you were there. It's only now in your absence that it's hitting her. But let's go even deeper. Why does she feel your absence so profoundly? It's not just about you. It's about what you represented. You weren't just a person in her life. You were an anchor, a source of strength, a presence that carried weight. You were in many ways her mirror, a reflection of her best moments, her safe haven during storms. And now that mirror is gone, the loss isn't just about you as a person. It's about the way you made her feel, the stability you brought, the way you elevated her world. And here's where Stoicism and dark psychology come together. Absence forces people to confront reality. When something is no longer accessible, it transforms from an everyday presence into a symbol of what they took for granted: your detachment, your ability to walk away, your refusal to beg for attention. All of these are acts of strength that amplify the loss she feels. The more composed you are, the more your absence stings. You see, the Stoics teach us that true power lies in control, not of others, but of ourselves. And the person who walks away with clarity and self-respect wields a power that echoes long after they're gone. Let me ask you this. Has she reached out subtly or directly? Has she tried to gauge where you stand? That's not just random. It's the mind's way of filling the void, of trying to re-establish the connection to what it's lost. You see, it's not just about her missing you. It's about her realizing in your absence what you truly were. That's why today we're peeling back the layers of this dynamic. We're going to explore why your absence hits harder than you think, why it lingers in her thoughts more than she'll admit, and how understanding this can empower you. Stoic philosophy gives us the tools to see through the illusions of attachment, and to recognize that loss is often more powerful than presence and dark psychology. It helps us see how power shifts when you value yourself enough to step away. But before we dive in, let me ask something of you. If you're watching this, it's because you know deep down that your value is real. So, let's claim it right now. Hit that like button. It's a small act, but it's a reminder that you're here to learn, grow, and strengthen yourself. And then take it a step further. Drop a comment below with these words. I am my greatest asset. Write it, say it, believe it. Let the world and yourself know that your value isn't tied to anyone else. It's yours, and it's undeniable. Now, let's begin. Let's talk about loss. Most people think of it as something final, something that ends when a person leaves, a relationship breaks, or a bond fades. But here's the truth. Loss isn't just an event. It's a process. And this process is far more powerful than we realize. You see, in the moments after someone exits your life, the mind starts to play tricks. It begins to fill in the gaps, exaggerating the value of what's gone. What once seemed ordinary suddenly becomes extraordinary. The Stoics called this hedonic adaptation, our tendency to take what we have for granted, only to crave it deeply once it's gone. Here's where the brilliance of Stoic philosophy comes in. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Loss is nothing else but change, and change is nature's delight." What he's saying here is that loss isn't inherently negative. It's a shift, a transformation. But what we often miss is this. When you step away from someone's life, they are forced to confront that shift. They're left in the silence of what was once filled by your presence. And for her, that silence is deafening. Think about it. How often do we stop to reflect on what someone truly brings into our lives when they're standing right next to us? Rarely. It's not until they're gone that the mind begins to inventory the little things. The way they listened, the stability they offered, the energy they brought into the room. And here's the kicker. Those realizations don't happen all at once. They come in waves. Every time she encounters a situation where your presence used to make a difference, she's reminded of what she no longer has. It's like a haunting, But instead of fear, it's regret. Dark psychology plays a role here too. The human brain is wired to focus on scarcity. What we cannot have becomes infinitely more desirable. By stepping away, by refusing to chase or beg, you've created scarcity. You've turned your presence into a rarity. And that rarity is what makes your absence so profound. You are no longer a constant. You're a memory, a feeling, a what that lingers in the back of her mind. And this is the lesson she's starting to learn. What you offered wasn't just nice to have. It was essential. But here's something the Stoics teach that's even more powerful. Her realization isn't your concern. The work you've done, the energy you've brought, it was always a reflection of you, not her. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." And this is what makes her loss even more potent. While she's sitting there wrestling with what she's lost, you're moving forward. You're growing, evolving, mastering your emotions, and building yourself into something even stronger. And let me tell you something. This realization, this sense of loss she feels, it doesn't diminish overnight. It grows. Every time she meets someone new who doesn't match the depth of what you brought, every time she searches for that same energy and comes up empty, the weight of her loss grows heavier. This is why loss is more than just the absence of someone. It's the presence of something deeper, a void that reminds us of what we once had and what we may never find again. And for her, that realization is cutting deeper with every passing day. If this resonates with you, if you're starting to understand your own power in a way you never have before, do me a favor. Like this video right now and then comment below. I am the rarest gem. Say it. Own it. Because the truth is, when someone loses you, they're not just losing a person. They're losing something extraordinary. Let's talk about the void. When you leave someone's life, you don't just disappear. You leave behind an empty space. And here's what makes this so powerful. That space isn't just empty. It's filled with echoes of who you were, what you brought, and what they no longer have. The Stoics often reflected on the idea of absence, and Epictetus reminded us that we suffer not from the events in our lives, but from our judgments about them. And when it comes to your absence, her judgment of it is what's truly painful. She might not admit it. She might not even fully understand it yet. But the void you've left behind is undeniable. Think of it like this. When a tree is cut down in a forest, the ground beneath it doesn't remain unchanged. That space becomes a scar in the earth, a reminder of what once stood tall and strong. For her, that's what your absence feels like. It's not just a missing person. It's a missing presence, your energy, your stability, the way you brought something unique into her life. It all left a mark. And now that mark feels like a void that can't be easily filled. Here's where dark psychology sheds some light. Human beings are inherent liars. Studies have shown that people feel the pain of loss far more acutely than they feel the joy of gain. This is why your absence carries so much weight. She could meet a dozen new people, but none of them will fill the space you left. Why? Because the void you created is shaped by your uniqueness, your qualities, your values, the things that made you you. And no one else can replicate that. The more time passes, the more she feels the void. In the beginning, she might have been distracted, perhaps even relieved, thinking she could replace what you brought into her life. But reality has a way of catching up. Every time she encounters a situation where your presence would have made a difference, your insight, your strength, your support, she's reminded of that empty space. And here's the truth. People don't miss you all at once. They miss you in pieces slowly, relentlessly. The Stoics remind us that we have no control over how others feel or react. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. This is what makes your absence even more profound. While she's struggling with the void you left, you've detached yourself from needing her validation. You're focused on mastering your own mind, your own growth, your own purpose. And that, my friend, is what deepens the loss for her. Because the more you rise, the more glaring that void becomes in comparison. And let's not forget this. The void doesn't just remind her of what she's lost. It challenges her. It forces her to reflect on her own actions, her own choices, and the role she played in creating that space. That's the thing about loss. It holds up a mirror, and when she looks into that mirror, what she sees isn't just you. It's her failure to value you when she had the chance. Let me ask you this. Have you ever felt someone's absence hit you when you least expected it? That random song, that familiar scent, that moment when you realize you won't hear their voice again. Now imagine that happening to her. That's the void you've left, and it's more powerful than you realize. If this resonates with you, if you've ever wondered whether someone truly feels your absence, let me tell you, they do. And if you're starting to understand just how powerful you are, take a moment to affirm it. Like this video right now, then comment below. I leave a lasting mark. Say it with conviction, because the truth is your presence wasn't ordinary, and your absence, it's unforgettable. Detachment. It's one of the most misunderstood concepts in Stoic philosophy. Yet, it's also one of the most powerful. To detach isn't to stop caring, it's to stop being controlled. And when you master detachment, you don't just take control of your life. You transform how others perceive you. For her, your ability to detach doesn't just sting. It leaves an impression she can't shake. The Stoics taught that the ultimate form of strength comes from within. Epictetus said, "Freedom is the only worthy goal in life." It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control. When you detach, you embody this principle. You stop clinging to the idea of approval, validation, or closure. You show the world and her that you don't need external recognition to define your value. And that's where the shift happens. Because the moment you stop chasing, people start noticing the absence of your attention, your energy, your focus. It's magnetic. Think about it. Most people are desperate for validation. They beg, they plead, they try to prove their worth to someone who's already walked away. But you're different. You've chosen to detach, to release yourself from the chains of needing her acknowledgement. And in doing so, you've reclaimed your power. That's what makes your detachment so impactful. It's not indifference, it's strength. It's knowing that your value doesn't diminish because someone else failed to see it. Here's where dark psychology plays a fascinating role. People are wired to crave what feels out of reach. The more unavailable something becomes, the more desirable it appears. By detaching, you've created that distance. You've shifted from being someone she could take for granted to someone she has to wonder about. And that wonder, it's consuming. It makes her question everything. Your silence, your strength, your ability to walk away without looking back. It's the ultimate power move. But let's be clear, detachment isn't about manipulation. It's about freedom. The freedom to let go of what doesn't serve you. The freedom to focus on your own growth. The freedom to stop letting someone else's actions dictate your worth. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." That's the essence of detachment. It's not about punishing her. It's about prioritizing yourself. And here's the irony. Your detachment makes her feel your absence even more. Why? Because it's a reminder of what she's lost. Your silence isn't just empty space. It's a statement. It says, "I don't need you to complete me. I was whole before you, and I'm even stronger now." That kind of energy is rare, and it's unforgettable. The beauty of detachment is that it's not just about them. It's about you. When you let go, you free yourself to focus on what truly matters. Your goals, your peace, your purpose. And as you rise, she's left to watch from a distance, feeling the weight of your absence more with every step you take forward. Let me ask you this. How powerful does it feel to know that your strength comes from within, not from someone else's approval? If you're feeling that power, I want you to affirm it. Like this video right now and then drop a comment below. I am unshakable because that's what you are. Steady, strong, and untouchable in your pursuit of growth. Here's a truth few people understand. Desire isn't born from abundance. It's born from contrast. The Stoics knew this well. They understood that we only truly appreciate something when we've experienced its opposite. How do you know light without first knowing darkness? How do you know warmth without having felt the cold? And when it comes to relationships, the same principle applies. She desires you more in your absence precisely because of the contrast between who you are and what's out there. Think about it. When you were present, you brought a specific energy, a sense of stability, confidence, or depth that others might not have. But as humans, we have a dangerous tendency to normalize the exceptional. We grow accustomed to what feels rare, forgetting how uncommon it truly is. This is why the Stoics taught us to reflect on impermanence, to remind ourselves that what we have today may not be there tomorrow. The tragedy for her, she didn't realize this until you were gone. Contrast amplifies value. When you walk away, you don't just leave an absence. You leave a benchmark, a standard. And the world she now navigates doesn't live up to that standard. This is where dark psychology reveals something fascinating: the scarcity effect. People place higher value on what's rare, on what feels unattainable. By detaching, by stepping back, you've shifted from something accessible to something elusive. You've created a contrast between the depth you brought and the shallowness of what she's finding now. And that contrast, it's where desire grows. Here's an analogy. Imagine drinking from a crystal clear spring every day. Over time, you forget how rare and pure that water is until you're left with nothing but muddy puddles. That's the contrast she's experiencing now. She might meet others, interact with them, even try to replace what you brought. But it's not the same because the clarity, the purity, the unique essence you offered, it's unmatched. Marcus Aurelius said, "Dwell on the beauty of life. Watch the stars and see yourself running with them." This isn't just about observing beauty. It's about understanding it, appreciating it, and recognizing when it's lost. That's the lesson she's learning now. Your absence isn't just felt. It's magnified by every shallow conversation, every surface-level interaction, every person who can't measure up to the depth you brought. That's the power of contrast. And here's where this gets even deeper. The more she tries to fill the void with others, the more apparent the contrast becomes. It's not just that she misses you. It's that she's constantly reminded of how rare you were. Every interaction is a comparison, a mental scoreboard that always comes back to the same conclusion. It's not him. And that realization, it's a slow burn, a thought that creeps in during quiet moments, growing louder with time. But here's the thing. You're not responsible for her realization. The Stoics teach us to focus on what we can control ourselves. Your job isn't to make her see your worth. It's to live your life in alignment with your values, your growth, your purpose. That's what makes you powerful. And ironically, it's also what makes you unforgettable. Let me ask you this. How many times have you looked back at someone you lost and realized their value only after they were gone? That's what she's doing now. She's seeing the contrast, feeling it, living it. And if you're starting to recognize just how unique and powerful you are, I want you to affirm it. Like this video right now and comment below. I set the standard. Say it because it's true. You're not just someone to be missed. You're someone to be remembered. Reflection. It's a quiet, often painful process, but it's where the weight of loss grows the heaviest. When someone loses you, it's not immediate. Sure, they might notice your absence right away, but true realization that comes later. It comes in those moments when life slows down, when the distractions fade, and they're left alone with their thoughts. And in those moments, reflection becomes their greatest enemy. The Stoics believe deeply in self-reflection. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Look within. Within is the fountain of good, and it will ever bubble up if thou wilt ever dig." But for her, reflection doesn't bring peace. It brings regret. It forces her to dig into the choices she made, the moments she let slip by, the way she failed to value you while you were there. And that's where the loss intensifies. Because every time she looks back, she's not just seeing the good times. You're also holding up a mirror to her mistakes. Here's why reflection is so powerful. It doesn't just remind her of what she lost. It forces her to confront the reality of her actions or inactions. She'll replay moments in her mind over and over. That time you supported her when no one else did. That time you stood by her when the world felt like it was falling apart. That time you gave more than you had to give and she didn't meet you halfway. And now in your absence, those memories don't just linger. They haunt her. This is where dark psychology reveals another truth. The human mind is wired to dwell on missed opportunities. Studies show that people regret the things they didn't do far more than the things they did. For her, it's not just about missing you. It's about the things she didn't say, the moments she didn't show gratitude, the chances she had to nurture the connection and didn't take. And now those missed chances play on repeat. But here's the twist. Reflection isn't something you can control for her. That's what makes it so powerful. It happens in the quiet moments, the spaces where distractions can't reach. Maybe it's a song that reminds her of you. Maybe it's a place you used to go together. Maybe it's nothing at all. Just the stillness of her mind that brings her back to you. The Stoics teach us that we're not responsible for others' perceptions, and this is the perfect example. Reflection is her process to endure, not yours to manage. The more she reflects, the more she realizes that what she lost wasn't just a person. It was an opportunity to grow, to be with someone who challenged her, supported her, elevated her. And the deeper this realization cuts, the more she feels the loss. Because the truth is, People don't miss you for what you were. They miss you for what you made them feel. And you made her feel safe, valued, seen. That's not something she can replace, no matter how hard she tries. And here's what makes this so profound. While she's trapped in reflection, you're moving forward. You're not stuck in the past, dwelling on what went wrong. You're focused on your growth, your purpose, your journey. Marcus Aurelius said, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." That's exactly what you're doing. And as you rise, her reflection becomes sharper. She's no longer just thinking about what she lost. She's realizing that she let something extraordinary slip away. Let me ask you this. How many times have you reflected on someone you didn't value until they were gone? It's painful, isn't it? That's what she's feeling now. And if you're starting to see just how powerful your presence and absence truly are, I want you to take a moment to affirm it. Like this video right now and comment below. I am unforgettable. Say it because it's true. You're not just someone to reflect on. You're someone who leaves a mark. There's a battle happening right now, but it's not one you can see. It's silent, internal, and deeply personal. This battle is taking place inside her mind as she wrestles with the reality of your absence. At first, it may have seemed like she was fine, even indifferent. But that's just the surface. Beneath it, a storm is brewing, music, and it's one she can't outrun. You see, the Stoics understood that true conflict isn't external. It's within. Epictetus said, "Man is troubled not by events, but by the view he takes of them." Right now, her battle is with her own mind, her own perceptions, her own choices. And this isn't just about missing you. It's about reconciling who you were with the person she allowed herself to lose. Every thought, every memory, every quiet moment is a confrontation with the version of you that lingers in her mind. And in this battle, she's losing. Why? Because the mind is relentless. It digs up regrets, replays memories, and magnifies mistakes. This is where dark psychology reveals its truth. The harder we try to suppress something, the louder it becomes. She might try to distract herself, surround herself with new people, or bury herself in work. But none of that changes what's happening inside. The silent battle isn't about replacing you. It's about facing the truth of what she's lost. And the harder she fights it, the more it consumes her. Here's the paradox. The strength you displayed by walking away, by detaching, by not begging for validation, that same strength is now the foundation of her regret. She realizes that she didn't just lose you. She lost someone with self-respect, with boundaries, with purpose. And that kind of person isn't easy to replace. It's rare, it's unforgettable, and it's exactly what makes this battle so painful for her. Because every time she looks at the people around her, every time she meets someone new, she's reminded of the gap between them and you. The Stoics teach us that the greatest battles are fought in the mind, not the battlefield. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. For her, that realization hasn't come yet. She's still fighting the outside, the idea of you, the memories, the loss, without mastering the inner struggle. And as long as that battle continues, she can't move forward. She's stuck in a loop, replaying the moments she didn't appreciate, the things she took for granted, the chances she missed. But let me remind you, this battle is hers to fight, not yours to resolve. The Stoics would tell you to focus only on what's within your control. And her thoughts, her struggles, her regrets, those are not yours to carry. Your responsibility is to continue rising, to continue building yourself into the person you are meant to be. Because while she's caught in this silent battle, you're out there winning the war of self-mastery, growth, and purpose. Here's where the real power lies. The more you thrive, the sharper the contrast becomes. As she struggles with her thoughts, your success only amplifies her regret. Your silence, your strength, your progress, it's not just a reminder of what she lost. It's a reminder of who you've become. And that, my friend, is a reality she can't escape. Let me ask you this. How does it feel to know that your growth, your strength, your detachment is what sets you apart? If you're feeling that power, take a moment to affirm it. Like this video right now and drop a comment below. I win the silent battles because that's what you're doing. Rising above while the rest are caught in the struggle. The greatest mistake people make isn't losing something. It's failing to see its value while they still have it. And when it comes to relationships, this truth hits harder than most people care to admit. The Stoics warned us about this blindness. Seneca said, We suffer more often in imagination than in reality.
And that's exactly what happens when someone takes value for granted. They imagine it'll always be there, constant and unwavering. But when it's gone, reality sets in, and it's unforgiving. For her, the danger wasn't just losing you.
It was not recognizing what she had in you until it was too late. You see, people get comfortable.
They normalize excellence. They assume that the things you brought, your strength, your support, your patience, are easy to find elsewhere.
But here's the truth.
What's easy to take for granted is often impossible to replace.
And now she's realizing this the hard way. Here's where dark psychology comes into play.
The human mind craves familiarity, but it doesn't value it until it's disrupted.
When you were there, consistent and dependable, it was easy for her to overlook your worth.
But now your absence is a disruption, a shock to her system.
It's forcing her to re-evaluate everything she thought she knew about you.
And the more she reflects, the more she realizes just how dangerous it was to ignore your value, because now that value is out of reach. The Stoics teach us to be mindful of what we have, to reflect daily on the gifts in our lives.
Marcus Aurelius wrote, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love." But how many people truly live this way?
Most, like her, only come to appreciate what they had after it's gone.
And that's where the pain cuts the deepest, because the realization of value isn't a relief.
It's a regret.
Here's something powerful to consider.
When someone ignores your value, it says more about them than it does about you. It reveals their inability to see clearly, their lack of gratitude, their failure to recognize the rare when it's standing right in front of them.
The Stoics would tell you not to internalize this. Epictetus reminds us, know first who you are, and then adorn yourself accordingly. Your value isn't diminished just because someone else failed to see it.
It remains constant, growing stronger with every step you take forward. For her, the danger of ignoring your value is that it creates a hole that no one else can fill. Every person she meets now is compared to you, whether consciously or subconsciously.
And as time goes on, that comparison becomes more glaring.
She'll look for what you brought, your strength, your presence, your depth, and she'll find shadows of it in others, but never the real thing. And that's the danger of taking someone like you for granted. It's not just about losing you. It's about realizing that the chance to truly value you is gone forever.
But let's bring it back to you. The Stoics would tell you to focus on what you can control. Your own growth, your own journey, your own ability to recognize value in yourself and in others. The greatest power you have is knowing your worth and refusing to let anyone diminish it. And by walking away, by choosing yourself, you've already won.
Let me ask you this. How many times have you failed to see your own value because someone else didn't acknowledge it? If you're starting to realize just how powerful you truly are, take a moment to affirm it.
Like this video right now and comment below.
My value is undeniable.
Say it, believe it, live it.
Because when you know your worth, no one else's blindness can take it away.
The most powerful response to loss, rejection, or being underestimated isn't revenge. It's self-mastery.
It's becoming so aligned with your values, your purpose, and your strength that no one's opinion, no one's actions can shake you.
The Stoics understood this better than anyone. Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." And that's where your true power lies.
Not in her regrets, not in her realizations, but in your ability to rise above it all.
Here's the truth. The path of self-mastery isn't easy. It requires discipline, reflection, and the courage to face your own shortcomings.
But as you walk this path, something incredible happens. You stop needing others.